On April 20th, 2010, a kick occurred causing oil and gas to enter the wellbore undetected. The force of the oil and gas caused drill mud to explode on the rig. Crew members closed the blowout preventer, but it did not seal as well as intended. Even though it was a temporary fix, it was too late because oil and gas had already made it up the pipeline and onto the platform. When oil and gas escaped the riser onto the rig, pressure dropped in the annular space above the ram, but at the same time, pressure in the drill increased. The large difference in pressure caused the drill pipe to buckle, essentially bending the pipe off-center and the blowout preventer. Buckling pushed sections of the drill pipe outside of reach of the blind shear ram blades, allowing oil and natural gas to reach the rig, causing the first explosion on the platform. Approximately 4.9 million barrels of oil were released into the Gulf of Mexico over a 3-month period. 11 crew members died and 17 crew members were injured. Long-term effects of the spill are still uncertain. There were a number of systematic factors that led to the explosion on the rig. Some of the main causes were the misinterpretation of the negative pressure test, failure of the blowout preventer, AMF deadman malfunction, and kinks. The blowout preventer is a device that encloses the drill pipe near the bottom of the seafloor. It can be manually or automatically activated to cut the drill pipe and seal it to stop oil and natural gases from reaching the rig. The AMF deadman is a backup security measure within the blowout preventer that if power is cut off, it will still cut and seal the drill pipe, stopping the flow of oil and natural gases. Kicks is a term used within the drilling industry to describe the unplanned flow of well fluids into the wellbore, which can lead to an explosion. Many things led to the explosion on April 20th, but because of the depth of these factors, this presentation focuses on the human and organizational factors that led to the misinterpretation of the negative pressure test.
A negative pressure test is used in the drilling industry to indicate if the cement barrier and other flow barriers at the bottom of the drill well can isolate the well and prevent the hydrocarbon influx due to temporary abandonment of the well. Well abandonment is the process of decommissioning the well of use and isolating permeable and hydrocarbon-bearing formations to prevent potential contamination. Formal investigations into the spill have indicated that the misinterpretation of the negative pressure test results were the main cause of well control which led to the explosion. Dr. Donald Winter, who is the chairman of the National Academy of Engineering and National Research Council Committee on the BP Deepwater Horizon accident, said in an interview that the blowout was precipitated not by a piece of hardware, but by the decision to proceed to temporary abandonment in spite of the fact that the negative pressure test had not been passed. From 1988 to 2005, a comprehensive study of more than 600 well-documented major failures in offshore structures was conducted by the Marine Technology Group and the Center for Risk Mitigation. They found that approximately 80% of the failures were due to human and organizational factors. One reason for this is because the majority of risk assessments in offshore operations are primarily focused on technical issues contributing to accidents rather than human and organizational issues. The human and organizational issues that led to the misinterpretation of the negative pressure test and the subsequent explosion are economic pressure and procedural issues.
Another factor was economic pressure. When comparing production and safety, BP appeared to have more emphasis on production rather than safety. According to the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, Regulation and Enforcement report, evidence showed that the performance of the BP personnel was reviewed. Their performance was evaluated at least in part based on their ability to control or reduce cost, and they were compensated based on that. This issue remained while there was no comparable performance measure for the occupational safety achievements.
On this day, the crew was preparing to leave the well so it could begin to pump oil. To do this, a negative pressure test was done to make sure the well could withstand the pressure. This test was read incorrectly and ran in the wrong line. The test showed that there was actually pressure when there shouldn't have been. Even with the pressure in the pipes, the executives for BP on the well didn't think it was bad enough to stop, so they continued on without regards to the test. An hour and 45 minutes later, the well experienced its first blowout. Alarms began sounding and a fine mist of gas began to spread across the well. With respect to the VIPs on board, they were trained to set off the master alarm after 2 precautionary alarms began sounding. On this day, more than 13 alarms were going off and they still didn't set off the master alarm. For the procedural issues, there should be an automated safety system that clicks on when multiple alarms are being set off. That way the whole deck is informed of the situation. Also, a coding system could be integrated to prevent the crew from performing the test in the wrong line, as well as making the procedure easier to understand. The last solution is function allocation, where a system performs and records the negative pressure test so that there is no human error in misinterpreting the test. The system also sends the results to the onshore site, where data is being recorded and managers are notified of the results.